least you know to listen for it.
I try. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce somebody really special. We all know her, we all love her, Reverend Lisa Argo. It was my pleasure to be her mentor as she was going through her training. She has an amazing gift, and she truly is a gift to Center of Enlightenment. Reverend Lisa serves on our board as our PR person and our marketing person. She's head of our membership and committee, and she just does all kinds of things. She started the Saturday workshop program, and that's turned out to be really great. So if you would help me welcome Reverend Lisa Argo to the platform.
Thank you. I don't like looking at myself. It's like, okay, let me get other people on here. So there's Diane and Joanne and Josephine, and it's good to see their faces. Hi. So this morning, I'd like to thank Reverend Carol for asking me, because we were at breakfast one morning and we were sitting around chatting, a few of us, and someone said, well, how do you really know if you love yourself?
That was Richard.
How do you know? And Reverend Carol and I answered the best we thought. And I said, that's a sermon. And so I've been mulling it around in my head, and I haven't spoke, so I'd never thought about it. And then Reverend Carol asked me, and I said, I'm doing it. So here we go. Self-Love 101. Let's talk about the definition. From an article by Deborah Koshaba in Psychology Today, comes self-love is not simply a state of feeling good. It is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. Self-love is dynamic. It grows through the action that matures us. It's about valuing yourself as a human being who is worthy of love and respect. When we act in ways that expand self-love in ourselves, we begin to accept much better our weaknesses as well as our strengths, have less need to explain away our shortcomings, have compassion for ourselves as human beings struggling to find personal meaning, are more centered in our purpose and values, and expect living fulfillment through our own efforts. Wow, a lot is packed into that. Self-love is neither constant nor permanent. It's also not the same thing as being in love with yourself. So if the word love doesn't feel right to you, consider working towards acceptance. As in most things, this is a process. Let's break them down. Let's talk about physical self-love. Yeah, for some of us, this is, okay, we'll talk about that. As many of you know, that I have begun taking classes at SAI, where Patty Shaw has been going for a few years. The class I'm in now is Karma and Reincarnation. And it was written by Barbara Y. Martin, this book, and Dimitri Moreidis. And that's used in the class. It's a good book. It states that you earn your physical form through the care you have shown to your body and the respect you have shown to the physical form in other past lives. Something to think about. This is how we receive the body in this life. What are you reaping? What are you paying back? But also remember, you are not your body. You are a soul having an earthly experience inhabiting this body. We just need to show some respect and action in taking care of our bodies. I admit I have not this past decade, that I have vowed to change this past month, as it was my birthday, and I said, okay, that's it. And I have been doing quite well. My husband keeps saying, well, you haven't eaten ice cream in the refrigerator. And for a lot of you that know me, you know ice cream is my downfall. But I haven't wanted it, and I haven't eaten it. I know. Disrespecting our bodies and other bodies, other people's bodies, we are accountable and will have to pay back that karma owed in the next life. Yes, we still have time to build and strengthen and love what we have. Working each day to support the love that was given to us in this body. Yes, that includes proper nutrition, exercise, and rest. Yes, action items. Just remember, you will always be tested to see how well you are honoring the body that you have been given. Okay, I'll leave the physical. We're all intelligent people and know our responsibilities and the action we need to take. In the psychological, we look at how we think about self-love. This from Self Magazine. Imagine your closest friends and family members who show up with love for you when you're at your worst, your crabbiest, as I was this morning, the least successful, the negativity. Now ask yourself if you treat yourself the same way. We love our friends and family despite their faults, but it's so hard for many of us to love our faulty selves. Adia Gooden, a PhD, says, when we realize that perfection is not the prerequisite of being loved by other people or loving yourself, we can begin to practice self-acceptance and maybe eventually self-love. She has a TED Talk on unconditional self-worth that has been viewed nearly 1 million times. This practice is rooted in the theory that to accept our imperfect selves, we must first recognize our reality. We are what we resist persists, says Dr. Gooden. In other words, if you deny what's happening, you're more likely to get stuck in the negative self-talk. Conversely, if you practice acknowledging your reality in non-judgment terms, this is my situation, or this is what happened, you'll be better able to accept and move past things you can't control. Right, Richard? The word accept is key here. You don't have to like what happened. You just have to accept it. For example, it's okay and natural to feel disappointed that you didn't get called back for a second interview, but accepting the fact of the situation, they didn't call me back and I'm disappointed, can prevent you from feeling like you are a disappointment. The idea is to avoid getting stuck in a self-blame spiral by first validating your thoughts and feelings, and then practicing self-acceptance instead of repeatedly berating yourself for what you should have done differently. Okay, what can I learn from this and how can I go forward? Also, remember that self-love is not narcissism. Self-love is about loving yourself without needing to make downward social comparisons, taking pride in your performance and your achievements, giving yourself the validation you need to recognize that it's okay to feel uncertain and doubt yourself now and then. This is how we grow. Narcissism is the opposite. Narcissists compare themselves to others to feel better, obsess over looking like the real deal instead of becoming it, craving constant validation from others and seeing things in black and white. Self-love is an honest, authentic appreciation for the self, while narcissism is all about proving that you're better than everyone else and making sure others see you as you want to be seen. Self-love is self-focused, while narcissism is other-focused. Louise Hay said, "It's not selfish to love ourselves. It clears us so that we can love ourselves enough to love other people." Self-love is about acknowledging the need to take care of our needs, not our wants, and to work towards self-betterment instead of sacrificing our needs to prioritize the happiness of others. Let's move on to the third avenue of self-love, the spiritual self-love, the godness within us. Nikki DeForest, on her blog, How I Learned to Love Myself During My Spiritual Awakening, wrote that Spirit sent her songs to communicate. Songs for high vibes, inspirational, general badassery. I asked Spirit if I could say that, and they said yes. And to remind her that they were with her. She writes, one song, Keeping Your Head Up by Birdie, was the song they'd send me when I was down and out. This was their song to remind me that I am always loved. And sometimes they would send me this part of the lyrics. Do you know your pain is my pain? And I would die 1,000 times to ease your mind. When I began to see myself as a divine being having a human experience, it was easier to love myself. Divine beings deserve love, and so do we. I still cry every time I hear that song and feel that love. The divine would not love something that's not lovable. That is not worthwhile. That is not a representation of divine love. We are that. We come from God and we will return to God. We are divine beings. And here's a list of how to cultivate self-love by Deborah Kashaba. Number 1, become mindful. People who have more self-love tend to know what they think, feel, and want. They are mindful of who they are and act on this knowledge rather than what others want for them. Number 2, act on what you need rather than what you want. You love yourself when you can turn away from something that feels good and exciting, the ice cream, to what you need, the broccoli, to stay strong, centered, and moving forward in your life, right?
No comparison.
By staying focused on what you need, you turn away from automatic behavior patterns that get you in trouble, keep you stuck in the past, and lessen self-love. Practice good self-care. You will love yourself more when you take better care of your basic needs. People high in self-love nourish themselves daily through healthy activities like sound nutrition, exercise, proper sleep, intimacy, and healthy social interactions, like we're doing here today. Number 4, set boundaries. You'll love yourself more when you set limits or say no to work, love, or activities that deplete and harm you physically, emotionally, and spiritually, or express poorly who you really are. Number 5, protect yourself. bring the right people into your life. I love the term frenemies that I learned from my younger clients. It describes so well the type of friends who take pleasure in your pain and loss rather than in your happiness and success. My suggestion to you here, get rid of them. There isn't enough time in your life to waste on people who want to take away the shine on your face that says, I genuinely love myself. You will love and respect yourself even more. Number 6, forgive yourself. We humans can be so hard on ourselves. The downside of taking responsibility for our actions is punishing ourselves too much for mistakes in learning and growing. You have to accept your humanness, the fact that you are not perfect, before you can truly love yourself. Practice being less hard on yourself when you make a mistake. Remember, there are no failures if you've learned and grown from your mistakes. There are only lessons learned. Number 7, live intentionally. You will accept and love yourself more no matter what is happening in your life when you love with purpose and design. Your purpose doesn't have to be crystal clear to you. If your intention is to live a meaningful and healthy life, you will make decisions that support this intention and feel good about yourself when you succeed in this purpose. You will love yourself more if you see yourself accomplishing what you set out to do. You need to establish your living intentions to do this. Now, all of this is about being in the now, really working on it and not being in the past. There is where others told us what we were or what our worth was. In the now, we learn by ourselves who we are, that we're worthy and that we're capable of love and capable of loving. We are going to mourn who we were because it was comfortable in what we knew. Today is what we know now. Today is who we love. I'd like to close with a quote from Dr. Steve Maraboli. Love yourself enough to take actions required for your happiness. Love yourself enough to cut yourself loose from the ties of the drama-filled past. And love yourself enough to move on. Thank you for listening.